Today we're looking at lesson 3.6 on adding and subtracting unlike fractions. This is for pre-algebra. When you have unlike fractions or unlike denominators, you need to get a common denominator. Then you need to think of the numbers, the denominators, the least common multiples of them. So if you think about 6, you have 6, 12, 18, and then once you get to 12, you can realize that 4 and 12, those are also multiples. So you're going to multiply the 4 by the 3 to get to 12. You also multiply the numerators, and then you multiply the 6 by 2 to get to 12, and also multiply the numerator. So you're changing the first fraction into 2 twelfths plus 9 twelfths. And now you can add the numerators together like lesson 3.5, and you get 11 twelfths. Now you can't simplify this anymore, so that would be your final answer. With the next one, you have 2 sevenths plus 3 14ths. This one, the 7, has 14 as one of the multiples, so we don't need to change the 14. We would just need to change the 7 into 14 by multiplying by 2, and we also multiply the numerator. So now we have 4 14ths plus the 3 14ths, which is going to give us 7 14ths. And this you can actually simplify because 7 14ths you can divide by 7 for both numbers to get 1/2. And that's your final answer. For the next problem, you have a mixed number, and so this one we have a mixed number and a fraction, so we need to change the mixed number into an improper fraction first, which would give us 15/4. And then we still need a common denominator because we have 4 and 14. So we need a common denominator between those two numbers. 28 would work. So to get 14 to be 28, we multiply by 2, also the numerator. And to get 4 to be 28, we multiply by 7, and also the numerator. So we get 15 times 7, which is going to give us 105/28, plus 5 times 2 is 10/28, and we add those together, so we get 115/28. And then I don't believe you can simplify this anymore, but you might want to try a few numbers that are common, like 3 and 4, probably not 2, because we have an odd number. So it doesn't look like you can simplify this, so this would be your final answer. The next one you have is -6 8/9 plus 7 and 5 12ths. These are both mixed numbers, so we're going to need to make them into improper fractions first. So for the first one, we get 62/9. That's negative. And then the second one, we get 89/12. And now we need to get a common denominator between 9 and 12. So that would be probably 36 would be the best one. So we're going to multiply by 3. And then here we're going to multiply by 4. And you're going to get quite large numbers, but that's okay. And that's going to be 248, or -248/36, plus 89 times 3, 267/36. And now we need to add those two together. So -248 plus 267 is going to give us +19/36. And they don't go into each other, so our answer is going to be 19/36. Next one, similar to the last one, we need to make them both into improper fractions first. And then we need a common denominator. So 30 would be a good one. We multiply the numerator and denominator to get the common denominator of 30. And then we need to add 108 plus negative 145, which is going to give us negative 37 over 30. And that can't be simplified, so we're done. Here we have subtraction. Subtraction is really the same thing as what we were doing before, adding. Because if you think about it, adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting. So if you just change your sign to adding a negative, we're back to what we were doing before for the last problems. So that's what I would do, is just change all the signs to adding a negative. Or you can think of it as save, change, change. And that way you're really adding everything instead of subtracting. So here we need a common denominator. We can get that by multiplying them by each other. And that's, if you have a problem getting a common denominator, you can always just multiply the denominators by each other and you'll get your common denominator. So we get 27 over 36 plus negative 32 over 36, which is going to give us negative 5 over 36. And again, we can't simplify. Next one, change them into improper fractions. Whoops. We get 43 over 6 plus 53 over 8. And again, we could just multiply them by each other to get a common denominator of 48. So we get 344 over 48 plus negative 318 over 48. And that gives us positive 26 over 48. And I know that we can simplify this because they're both even, so you can always divide evens by 2 to get 13 over 24. And that would be our answer. And the last one like that, save, change, change. This actually becomes an addition problem. Again, we're going to make them into improper fractions first. Oops. And in this case, we can just multiply the first fraction to get 9 as the common denominator, which gives us less work. So we get 48 over 9 plus 41 over 9, which is 89 over 9. Just to make sure that that doesn't go into each other, I would divide by 3, 9, those don't work, so this would be our answer. And the last problem, they wrote it out in words, but really you're just doing a subtraction problem. So you have, at a recent frog jumping contest, the winning frog jumped 21 1/3 feet. Second place frog jumped 20 1/2 feet. We need to know how much further the first place frog jumped. So we have 21 1/3 minus 20 1/2 to get the difference. We need to change this into an improper fraction. Common denominator could be 6. So I'm going to go over here, 128 over 6 minus 123 over 6. So it was a very small margin that the first place frog won at 5/6 by 5/6 of a foot. That concludes our lesson.